Who would win in a fight? Terminator 2 or Little Bear? It's not really a fight. These are two small, palm-sized tube amps. Now, they don't exactly set up for the same purpose, so it's going to be a little harder to bolt them down, but we're going to talk about how they sound. And for this particular series of tests, I'm just going to use the output from the JDS Labs old DAC, because both of these use 3.5mm inputs and have a 3.5mm output that says foam. This is more intended for portable use. You charge it here, built-in battery, turn it on, tubes glow. Tubes are made in the USA. They're Raytheon tubes. Raytheon? I don't want to say it wrong. You people will freak out. Raytheon tubes. And this was cute and cheap. It's like 70 bucks. Check the link. This, the T2, has very Chinese tubes in it because it just... I don't even know how to identify what they are. There's just J's on them, terrible J's. But it is an SMSL product, and I pretty much have their baby every time they send me anything. Which this is the first SMSL product they've ever sent me. Which is interesting. We're getting off to a good start. Here's my source, right? They're both 3.5mm. Let's plug this in first. Now you have to power this. Here's the power brick for it. 3 amp, 12 volt. It's a big son of a bitch. Plug it in. Okay, cool. Here's where the headphones output. And for the testing, or for the review, I've been testing HE600s through the RBH Ultimate cable, because I have this thing. This is cool. And we'll be swapping out to the ATH WS1100s for sort of like the easy to drive and more likely what you'll be using for portable cans. Can I kill everyone yet? No? Okay, we're all right. Blue LEDs under the tubes here. Crack my neck like you'd see in the movies, like, ugh. Problem 1. Dicks. Problem 2, let's plug in the headphone out. Are we finding the problems yet? So, only thing on the back is the power plug, and both inputs are on the front. And even though this is a desk unit, like, okay, input and output are on the front of the Little Bear because it's a portable, it's battery powered, just to put in your pocket. By the way, it makes a great pocket warmer in the winter. This doesn't, I mean, granted, you probably wouldn't be using RCAs to an adapter down to 3.5mm, that's a right angle, and you could probably somehow make this look better, but this is dumb. Why is it here? Why are we here? Can we go beyond that? All right, let's move beyond that now. Foster the People's on. Wallpaper download in the description. And all the wallpapers downloadable from the patrons. Let's put this on. Now, I'm running full line out because the old DAC will do that. So, max volume, max volume. Your phone, your portable player will probably be putting out slightly less voltage, but we could always just take that into account. So, Force of Nature, Just Forget, some of the Samurai Champloo. Samurai Champloo, it's hard to say. Now to compare to solid state, since I have this all set up on optical, I can simply go, okay, well, let's get some bass notes. Yeah, unplug. Plug. Now, to no one's chagrin or surprise, well, the DAC and the AUN and the JDS Labs are very close. The amplifier in the AUN X1S seems to be better. Now, here's the thing. These are HD600s. Notoriously better on tube. Like, there's no question. If you own a set of these and you don't own some sort of tube, you're missing out. But remember, what I teach is you got to have a solid state to at least compare to. Because then you won't know the benefit. You got to know. You got to have a terrible egg salad sandwich first, then a great one. or else the great sandwich will just be okay. You'll never know the contrast. Did that analogy work? You hungry now? You shouldn't be. So, out of there. Now, I usually don't like little pre-tubes, but since this is trying to power headphones, they've actually got something going on in here at least. And these get not that warm at all, but it's okay. It's adding something. Something. Is it with? Not really. We're not really getting into like that, oh, tube sound. It's not like the Fostex V4. Was it 4? V1? Whatever. The one where I bought the little bear. That was the review. I'm listening to the echo. What tubes will usually, when you are listening for tubes, since I do this shit, when you're listening for tubes, what you listen for is echo. When we talk about the Freya over there, we're going to talk about echo. And how that has got some severe ways you can make shit happen. You want it to be different. There's no point in owning a tube amp if this sounds exactly the same as any other solid state. So you want to find differences. Depending on how big you want those differences, that's when you start swapping tubes. That's when you start buying really expensive or really cheap. This doesn't sound terrible. We're powering HD600s, 300 ohms, with this thing. And we're powering it at like that much volume. If I go to half, these are now loud. Still not distorting. We might be right on the edge of distortion. And then past that is just, I have to start yelling. So, but still no distortion, which makes me think the tubes are not doing us full power. They're just preamping, and there's a solid state in here. So we're getting a tube pre. And I'm going to shut it off for a second, which makes the blue LEDs go away, which makes me very happy. We're going to wait. Are we waiting? Have we waited? Okay. Putting it back on. I want to see the process. I want to hear the process. No sound. 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 Did I turn it on? Did I fuck it up? It's no sound. Did I break it? Are you broken? Oh, sound. That's how long it takes. It like warms up the tubes for as long as the fucking Freya. And we'll get to that review where I just yell about that thing taking 45 seconds to turn the fuck on. I understand why it takes that time. It wants the tubes to be right, but that's a long fucking time. Now, one of the things I would say to use this for, if you don't want to use it for headphones, and you just want to add a little flavor of tube to things, is you could just intercept your DAC like this, and then instead of having this be the headphone out, you push this to a bigger solid state amplifier, like an Emotiva Bass X or something, X7S. And then you set this somewhere, you figure that out on your own, and this will just sort of like inject the sound with some tube, which sounds great. For the price this thing is cheap as fuck. Just buy one, here you go. And it does add a little bit of tubiness, and since it's not powering with tube, it's adding it in the preamp stage, so it is going to add it to everything you hook it up to. Now, let's switch over to the little bear. And I'm not going to shut this off, because that'll take all day to come back on. These reviews can't be that long, SMSL. So, headphone out here. Like a gentleman, we can plug in our source here. Now, it's been off, and it's sitting off. Turn it on. Nothing. Nothing. Static in the left channel. Right channel's on, left channel's on. We're playing. And I can immediately tell you, 100%, this sounds like a tube. where that tries to do something a little bit. This is a fucking tube. Three Dog Night. Mama Told Me Not to Come. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas soundtrack. Just swapped it over. Thank you. I'm just gonna. Now, let's lower this down a little bit. It's a very simple circuit in here. In fact, it shows you this nice little layout here. It's an aluminum box. It's not the highest quality. In fact, it's probably the lowest quality aluminum box I've ever seen anything in. Like, there's no scratches on it, but I feel like it would get scratched if my keys came against it. This is nice and thick, but it's not quite machined properly. The knurled knob is nice. And again, does that turn? Yeah, that's if you click it down, it turns it off. There's no power indicator. There's no indicators that this is running. Like that, you can fucking tell that's running. Look, it's even got a little blue LED there, which you don't need. That is super weird. Hold on. So get this. This is what's happening right this second, because this is new. Holding this unit, the volume is all the way down. Music is still playing. Lower it down to 0, but not shut it off. If I touch this, my right channel buzzes in my headphones. So, you know, magic of audio. Anyway, back to how this sounds with a tube. Fuck. I don't have the Fostex here. The one that I said is like I would trade my Dark Voice for a second. In a second for the little Fostex portable tube amp. That thing was balls. Balls. The good kind of balls. The kind of balls you want to play with all day. And this is honestly not that fucking far off. And that blows my mind. That thing was Japanese-made precision. But the fact that it just has American-made rayon tubes in it. Raytheon tubes. R-A-Y-T-H-E-O-N. Raytheon. And I know my HD600s. And I know if I unplug this and I go into... Let's go to this one. Oh, that's very clean. Yes. And this, by the way, is... Harold Faltermeyer's Beverly Hills Cop theme, which is great. Class A, you get a little more warmth because more power. HD600s need it. Bass notes hold longer. More airy treble. This is a tube. It's fucking with the sound. I just wanted to fuck with the sound. And you try to fuck with the sound, but you don't fuck with it hard enough. This is fucking with it. Alright? Learn what fucking is. This is what's fucking with it. Absolutely thumbs up. Zeos recommends. However, the one thing that did disappoint me pretty greatly, actually. So here's the transformer, right? To charge it. So you come home. Maybe you want to integrate this into your stereo, because this is just doing enough, and this is actually making tube sound. But when you go to plug it in, tube shut off. It's charging the battery. So it will not run. See, red light? Red light means charging. When that turns green, the batteries are fully charged. And it lasts a while. I would give it probably 4+ hours. 4 or 5 hours. I actually haven't run it to death. But I've run it for 4 hours, and then I come home and plug it in. I love this little thing. I love it. I love it. It's cheap. What is it? What do you cost me? What did you cost me? And why did I wait so long? All right, so there's the SMSL. That's 60. This bitch is 70. There's only 3 left in stock as of the time of this, and I know what's going to happen. They're gone, and you're all going to be pissy at me again. First of all, I also like to point out it's powering HD600s to my liking, which is not an easy task considering how hard they are to drive. I have to swap to those, and we have to talk about those. But I should have saved these for last because it's just... Oh, I wanted to hear them again, so let me not blow them up.
I'm sleepwalking.
Whoa, Otis Taylor's doing a thing. 7 hours of light. Fucking echo and the width, and even if this is worse sound quality than if I went to the Owens, because it's a tube. The what I'm trading for, like the accuracy of the highs, is exactly why I want one. And of course, you can't plug it in and have it run. It means you can't do what I was just talking about, where you intercept your amp. You'd have to run it off the battery all day, which is dumb. But I think this really, for the fact you can't tell it's on, sucks too. It'll get hot, it'll murder the batteries, and the only indicator that it's running are those little, you see them, the little glow. Just the gentlest glow of the tubes in there is the only indication visually, other than looking over here and seeing if you're off or not off. So SMSL. Let's go back to this with its wonderful, dynamically adjusted. More power out of this. I mean, this is no slouch, but this is running a 3 amp 12 volt straight into it, so it's gonna have the power advantage. And it's not bad. Doesn't sound bad. It's just not enough tube. It's gimmick tube. It's still doing something, but it's not Little Bear tube. I wish it was. If I can get this Little Bear to work in a desktop environment, I would just stick it in there and, okay, now I have 2 tube amps here. Can't do it. Ugh. Is a T2 still worth it? Yes. That's what this is going to come down to. I still like the T2. It does just enough to say, oh, look, you could try it in this. But I ain't no Little Bear. But this is designed for a desk. This is designed for portability. So, really, am I recommending, like, this over a Little Dot or a Dark Voice? No. Am I recommending this over a Little Dot or a Dark Voice? Well, you can't. You need to plug in a tube amp and run on your desk to make it run. But this is so fucking cheap that if you ever wanted to try tubes, if you have HD 600s or 650s or 660s, which I'm getting a set to review, by the way, thank you. Wow. We plugged it back into you. I'm happy. Shut off. Go away. I honestly, it hurts me. It hurts me to run on anything else. These beautiful things, and I still gotta switch to those. It's just too good. All right, you off. You on. Now these are much more efficient, so I'm gonna tell you something about them. Turn that on so it's back up to speed. Oof, rush. It's loud. String quartet, 9 Inch Nails, obviously. When you tap this, a ringing comes through your headphones. It sounds like a Christmas bell going ding, ding, ding. Which means that the tubes are actively powering the headphones. They're involved. If I swap to this, which is on, it will also ring in a completely different tone. So it's definitely in the way of the audio. These tubes are just not up to spec. These American Raytheon tubes, doing more. If you could swap these out, and I would pull those out if they weren't... Oh, they're hot. I'm not going to yank them out right now. But if you could pull those out, if you could swap tubes on this thing, maybe you could make this killer. Make it like this. If someone has one of these, in the comments, please tell me you do, or tell me if you can get these tubes to work. what, I don't even, are the even numbers? 6J9? I don't know, 89? They both make sounds. They're both doing something. This is just doing more of something, and I like it better. And, you know, there's no blue LED, so it wins. Oh. Can I just make that sound a little bit? Now, much less difference. These headphones. Easy to drive, mostly closed back. The harder it is for a tube to do its job, the more you'll notice the tube, which is why HC600s at 300 ohms are perfect for it. Something like this, you're going to notice a little bit less. Just a little bit less. This and this is like, oh yeah, well, it's still quality. And then when you plug into here, I got to do this whole thing again. Too loud. I don't think we're getting any benefit at all. This sounds exactly like that. Either one, the Class A or the X1S. No, this is still running right now. It's on. You could just barely make out the orange glow of that tube. And you'll kill it without knowing it. If you pause your music, that just sits there running. This is as dumb a unit as you can get. Twist on, turn volume, then it dies. Then you plug it in and charge it again. So yes. I want to say I like the form factor of the T2. This is dumb. Move the input, because I don't know why it's not on the back, but it's not on the back. Move the input to the back. Move the output to keep the output on the front. Or put an alternate output on the back. Make this a little more tubey. Spend some money on the tubes, goddammit, SMSL. I know you're based in China, but someone's got to be able to make tubes tubier. And then you could have this, and then you could integrate it into a system, just like I'm using the dark voice to pre-out back into the SMSL Sanskrit Fa. And that makes that a hybrid tube. And this sounds different from this, and it sounds different from the rest of them, because it's got tube pre, like a legit tube. This is a legit tube amp. I highly recommend it. Especially for the freaking price. Now, back to where I was going. In fact, am I doing any headphone demos in the future where I might be able to throw this in line for a second? We'll see. I don't know. My schedule is a mess and I got lots to do, so we'll get to it. But if you're looking for a tube under $100, look no further. Well, look further, but just if you're looking for a portable tube, a little there.